Morning. Good Saturday morning, everybody. It's May the 16th and a beautiful, beautiful spring day here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and also Melin's birthday, just so you'll know. So, I got to remember I better take her out or something today, just to be safe. But I appreciate so much. Jeremy has taken on the assignment to do these trainings on a weekly basis. And I just gave up trying to keep up with him because he does such a great job on him. And Jeremy, you do. And you cover all the topics that we find interesting. And we're starting to grow pretty quickly, and it's exciting to see that. And so today, Jeremy's got another one of his great trainings for us, which I'm appreciative for. And thank you very much, Jeremy, for doing this.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Steve. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on. Today, we've got some really cool stuff going on because, as you obviously heard during the week, we are now listed on CoinMarketCap. That's another great big domino, right, in our list of dominoes that keep falling. And it really has a significant impact on the credibility, what we're doing, and what it means for all of us moving forward. So I figured today was a great day to really cover the ecosystem, the Gnodi ecosystem. The lunch and learn they did on Thursday kind of dove into that a little bit, but I felt like it was again, those lunch and learns, they're kind of high level, right? Those guys that do it, they're great, they're awesome, and I eat it up. I think it's amazing what they talk about. But they're talking to the nerds, right? They're talking to things in blockchain or whatever that not everybody can really understand and digest. So I took some of what they said, and I'm going to try and simplify it, make it a little bit easier for everybody to understand today. So let me share my screen and let's just dive into this. So let's understand the Node ecosystem, right? Node is the name of our token. Okay, so GNOD is the token name. Just like there's Bitcoin is BTC, right? And and Ethereum is ETC, and so on. So our token's name is GNOD or Node. Okay, that's how you can remember that. Hopefully, it makes sense. But they just do that to, it's like a stock ticker, right? Stocks have a little, ticker that they use to, okay, this is the, for Amazon or Microsoft, whatever. Same thing in the world of cryptocurrencies and tokens. They have, they take the full name of it and then they shorten it down into 3 or 4 letters. And that's what we've got with Node. Okay, so Node, GNOD, is the name of our token based on the Gnodi blockchain. Now, got to put up our disclaimer. As always, we are not promising anything. There's no guarantees because the whole point of this is that it's decentralized. The whole point of this is that it's the market, okay? And the market is what determines. So why does Bitcoin have such a huge market cap? Well, because the market determined that, because the people decided that. That's what it's worth. It's not because a government decided it's what it was worth. No, it's because we as community members have decided what the price is. So anytime we talk about anything to do with the money and the income and all that, just know that it's not anything guaranteed. There's not any promises. But if you get involved and you're part of it and you get engaged, then you can take advantage of any potential upside, right? So let's go ahead and understand why that happens, right? So the first thing we need to really understand is this milestone that we've hit, which is that, number one, we had our first halving on April 25th, okay? And so that's a huge thing. And we got listed on CoinMarketCap, which is currently right now, it's actually just since yesterday when I put this together, it's gone up a little bit. It's at 0.003 as of today, right? So the slide a little tiny bit out of date, but it will go up and down, right? It will, that just like anything, stocks go up and down, the value of gold goes up and down, the value of tokens. Bitcoin goes up and down just depending on the day and what's going on in the world and the markets and all of that. Okay. But as of yesterday, it was at 0.002 cents. And, that's actually really good. And you'll see why in just a minute. Okay. So here's kind of how it works out. So we know that in our ecosystem, we've got a 40-40-10-10 split. Okay. So here's what it looks like. If you are a node owner, then 40% of all the tokens that get distributed on a daily basis go to the node owners. If you use the SaaS products, if you're using Meetin, or if you're on Stacks, or if you're using a Safe or whatever, you're now getting, there's another 40% that gets paid out to all of the users of the products and services and subscribers. Okay. Then there's another 10% that goes into staking, those that have decided that they want to stake their tokens. Great, you can do that. You can lock them up for 21 days. Okay. And just so you know, that is a real thing, because I had to do that. I had to unstake some tokens just to see, and it took 21 days through the day, boom, before they got released, right, and made available again. So just so you know, if you stake, then they will be tied up for 21 days. And then you have a reserve. Now that reserve can be used for all kinds of things. The Gnodi governance, right? We have what we call the guardians. They can use that for different things like development, partnerships, grants, long-term ecosystem sustainability, those kind of things. Or they, if there's nothing going on, they can just redistribute that to node owners. Okay. So, but that's to their discretion, whatever they think is best. So that's how it works. Now, knowing that, something happened with the halving, okay, that we all need to know and understand, is that suddenly the products and services are actually paying out more rewards than the nodes. Okay, this was a huge change that we need to really understand. So a full node, $1,200 node, before the halving was paying out average. Okay, it was just, not a set thing at all, but it was about 350 tokens a day, right, or 350 rewards a day. Now that cut in half. Now it's only 175. Okay, mini nodes in the past, in the first year of the Gnodi blockchain, were paying out approximately 35 rewards a day. Now they're only paying out about 18 rewards a day, mini nodes. Okay, so if you use the math from yesterday, which was 0.002 cents, okay, on CoinMarketCap, then you can see that pre-halving, a full node was basically paying 70 cents a day, okay, and now it's only paying about 35 cents a day, full node, okay, at that price, right? Okay, well, I mean, that's not terrible, knowing that obviously over time we're going to have price appreciation. Okay, that, I mean, we hope, right? And all things indicate that it will gain in value because of utility and the other things we're going to talk about. But compare that. Let's take a look now at what the different SaaS products are rewarding. Okay, so Safe, which is only $10 a month, 20 rewards a day, is basically 4 cents a day. The Meetin product at $20 a month, paying out 40 rewards a day, is about 8 cents a day. Okay, that's what you're earning at yesterday's price. Okay, Stacks, $29 a month, 60 rewards a day. Basically, you're earning 12 cents a day at that value. The Omni bundle, $50 a month, pays 120 rewards a day and pays out about 24 cents if you convert the node into dollars. Okay, and then the Omni Plus, $100 a month, is 220 rewards a day, or 44 cents a day. So you can see that now this is the key insight, right? The Omni Plus bundle of $100 a month pays 220 rewards a day compared to a full node. The full node is only paying 175 rewards a day after the halving. So services are the engine of the ecosystem. Okay, that's what we need to understand. The utility of what we're doing is what's going to drive this whole thing. Okay, so that's what differentiates us. This is so huge, guys. If you really think about it, Okay. All the other node projects out there, they don't have this. They have buy a node, period. That's it, right? They don't even have half nodes or quarter nodes or mini nodes, right? They have buy a full node at whatever the price is, right? And they're all right around $1,000 range, okay? And that's all you got. There's no other way to drive the utility. There's no other way to make it go. We have something so unique in this world of blockchain that no other blockchain has, which is, look at that, the whole concept of the SaaS products is driving this, okay? Real utility to make sure that we have price appreciation over time. Really, really cool. There's incentive to go and get people to actually use the products, okay? So pretty cool. All right, so what is the halving? Well, it's a programmable, pre-scheduled event that's built into the blockchain, okay, that just cuts the amount of the rewards by 50 cents or 50%. It cannot be changed, overridden, or delayed. It just happens automatically. This is something that's built into it. And it's by design because this is the single most powerful mechanism for scarcity and long-term value creation. Going back to this idea of what gives a token its value is number one, utility, but number two, scarcity. Okay, you've got to cut the amount because when there's less of something, the more exciting it goes. It's just like anything, Christmas time, right? When there's this hot new item out, a new toy that somebody wants to get, and they're rare, they're scarce, right? And so people go crazy, and all of a sudden they'll put them up on eBay because, I got one of them, and then they can go sell it for, $10,000 because the parent, that has a kid that really, really wants one, right? Scarcity creates value. So it's the same thing that happens with gold mining, right? Gold is hard to get. It costs money to go and find the gold, extract it, refine it, all those things. So that's what happens. So it creates controlled, predictable scarcity. It prevents infinite inflation of the token supply. It mirrors the scarcity economics of gold and other types of commodities, and it's designed to reward early adopters the most. Those of us that are getting in at the beginning of this will have the best results over time. And the other thing is that history actually shows that having creates more excitement, more maybe fear of loss, right? And so prices typically rise significantly after halvings in other blockchains, other projects that are out there. That's usually what happens because that scarcity narrative attracts new investors, right? It attracts new people that want to get involved. And the utility demand grows as fewer tokens enter the supply. And so early holders who held throughout have the greatest gains, okay? So this is what's going to happen. We have something unique. Other blockchains have like a 4-year cycle. With Gnodi, it's a yearly cycle. Every year in April, okay, we're going to have another halving. So next April of 2027, guess what's going to happen? It's going to cut in half even again, right? And so a mini node that only pays 18 is going to drop to 9 tokens a day. That's it. So really, really interesting. So that is the importance of having. It creates the I guess the perception that, hey, okay, there's not as much of this, and so it must be valuable. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin. Bitcoin launched in 2009. Okay, obviously its price at that point was 0, and then it got to 1/10 of a cent. Bitcoin was 1/10 of a cent in late 2009. Okay, so basically the same price point that Gnodi is right now. Okay, so 0.001 cent in late 2009, just a few months after it launched, right? And when you were mining Bitcoin back then, you could get 50 Bitcoins, imagine, every time they did a reward, right? Which, in Bitcoin language, that happens every few hours. It does a reward, okay? And so you think about that now, right? People that were mining Bitcoin right at the very beginning in 2009, I mean, they're getting 50 Bitcoins every few hours. How much would that be worth? That current Bitcoin price, right around $80,000. All $500,000 in one drop, right? Really crazy. But what happened? Well, the first halving happened 4 years later in November of 2012, and the price of Bitcoin at that time was $12. Okay, so and the blocks, it dropped from 50 to 25 every time there was a reward given. Okay, and in that new period, that new 4-year period, its high point that it ever got to, all-time high, was $1,000. Okay, so pretty cool. Okay, all right. So it kind of went up and down, right? But it peaked at 1,000. So you can do the return multiplier at that point. People that got in at the beginning and went 4 years on that, it was like an 83x. Okay, so not bad. Well, then the next halving that happened with Bitcoin was in 2016. Okay, so in 2016, the price of Bitcoin at that point was $650, right? And from that point forward, over the next 4 years, it got up as high as 20,000. Okay, that was the all-time high. And then, but it cut in half to just 12 and a half Bitcoins per reward. Okay, so at that point, if people were getting in from 2012 to 2016, their multiplier was about 31x. Okay, then the third halving happened in May of 2020. So in May of 2020, the price of Bitcoin at that point was 8,500, right? So pretty good. And during the next 4 years, over that period, its all-time high got to 69,000. 69,000. Okay. So wow. But it dropped. It cut in half again. So the rewards only were 6.25 Bitcoins every time they did a reward. So at that point, the multiplier was only 8x, right? Even though the value was way higher, but the multiplier was only 8x. And then the fourth halving happened in April of 2024, okay? And the price at that point was $64,000 for a Bitcoin. And its next subsequent peak was $126,000 that happened on October 6th, 2025, right? So huge, okay? But again, the reward dropped down to only 3.12, right? 3.125. So it keeps dropping how much it pays out, but the value keeps going up over time, right? And what is the utility of Bitcoin? Basically, it's just a digital storage of value. It's just digital gold. That's it. That's the only thing Bitcoin does. There's no other utility to it other than they store a value. Kind of interesting. Okay. So how do tokens grow in value over time? It really is just scarcity plus utility plus adoption. That's it. Those three things: scarcity, utility, and adoption makes appreciation. Okay. So with scarcity, using the halving mechanism, right? Cutting in half how much you can get every day, right? Bitcoin went from 12 to 1,000 just in its first 4 years, in its first halving alone. Utility, okay? So here's where tokens with real world use cases hold value. So our Gnodi token, right, being able to be used for our SaaS products. Eventually, we'll be able to pay for Safe, we'll be able to pay for Meetin, we'll be able to pay for Stacks, and even in the future, pay our bills via the AI Visa card. There's going to be real utility with our token. How cool is that? And so that's going to create adoption, right? We're going to have people so excited to use our services. We're going to have people so excited to get that AI-powered Visa card. We're going to have all these people so excited to start using Stacks to save money. And then down the road, when we get other things like cell phone service and other things, that people are just going to like, wow, okay, this is real stuff I can use, and I can pay for it with the rewards I'm earning. Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. It's going to create a frenzy of adoption. So that's how we're going to create appreciation: scarcity with the halving mechanism, utility, and adoption. People are going to start using it because they love it. Okay. You can see here at the bottom, it talks about Ethereum. Ethereum launched at 31 cents. Okay. In its 2014 ICO. By November of 2021, it had reached $4,800 in value, a 15,000 times X return. Solana launched at 50 cents in 2020, and it peaked at 259. So that was a 518X return. Early positioning in utility tokens with real ecosystem is the pattern, okay? Again, no guarantees. I want to put that out there, right? We don't know what it's all going to mean in the end, but we can see a trend and a pattern, okay? So let's talk about another thing that creates utility, and that is the layer 1 versus the layer 2 gas fee engine. So every layer 2 project that gets built on top of the Gnodi blockchain is going to create even more demand. Okay, so if you have scarcity and you have utility, you have demand, because you're not, it's not just us so excited, it's all these other projects that are going to be coming on top, right? So of course you could kind of think of our SaaS products as a layer 2 in a way. They kind of are. So Safe and Meetin and Stacks, right, and future apps and partners. That's the idea, is that when we've got the like the culture one for the music, right? We've got the education one coming. All of those layered on top of Gnodi is going to create demand. Why? Because every transaction on a blockchain requires a small fee that has to be paid in that native token. So on Ethereum, it's ETH. That's its ticker. On Solana, it's SOL, right? That's what it's called, is SOL. On Gnodi, it's node tokens. And these fees, they compensate validators and node operators, right? So if we're node owners, okay, node operators, we can earn from those fees that are paid by these other layer 2 blockchains that are going to be layered on top of Gnodi. So every time a user makes a transaction through Safe, Meetin, or Stacks, or any future L2 project, a gas fee is paid in Node. This means every new user of every service creates more demand, okay? And the real world proof, right? Ethereum and Polygon have already been doing this. So Ethereum's gas fees demand drove Ethereum from under $1 to over $4,800. And Polygon, which was a layer 2 on top of Ethereum, okay, it reached $2.92 from 0.003 cents, a 973x gain, purely because more projects used it for gas, for the fees that they had to pay. Really interesting. So think of it like a flywheel, okay? So the Gnodi flywheel is this. As more and more layer 2 projects come on board, there's going to be more users. And with more users, you have more transactions. And with more transactions, you have more gas fees that are being paid in Node, right? And so now Node becomes more and more scarce, which makes the price go up, which means existing holders gain more value. That's how it works, okay? That's the flywheel. All right, so Node is now listed on CoinMarketCap. This is day 1. The story is just beginning, okay? Current listing price, 0.002. But what's going to happen? Well, because we have legitimacy with CoinMarketCap now, right? It's now going to be visible to millions of crypto investors worldwide. They're going to see it. Price discovery, it establishes a public, transparent market price. People can see what's going on. Anybody asks, you can just point them. Hey, go check it out. CoinMarketCap. You can see what's going on. The exchange listings typically follow whatever is on CoinMarketCap. Okay. Institutional investors began monitoring the token. Right. They're looking at it, going, and community and media coverage increases dramatically because it's now public. Right. So what does a 0.002 price mean for node holders today? Well, think of it this way. So if you're on your Omni Plus bundle, okay, $100 a month, you're getting 220 tokens a day. That's 80,300 rewards every year, annual rewards at 1 cent. It just goes to 1 cent. That's $803. $803 just for being subscribed to Omni Plus. All right. If it goes to 10 cents, okay, you're looking at $8,000, well, $8,030 in the year. And if it goes to $1, okay, And who knows how soon or if, when, whatever, right? No guarantees. But let's just say it did. If Node got to $1, that would be $80,000 just for being subscribed to Omni Plus. Okay. Now, if you're on a full node, right, you can just see the math there. 175 tokens a day. There's your annual reward, 63,875 annual rewards. If it got to a penny, that's 639. If it got to 10 cents, 6,388. Or if it's $1, that'd be $63,875, right? Mini nodes, okay? Mini nodes, not so valuable anymore, okay? I mean, they're okay, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to be on a mini node at this point anymore, right? Unless you just absolutely are not interested in any of the SaaS products that we've got. But even if you're just on the Omni, the basic bundle, right? For $50 a month, you can see what that does. 120 rewards a day, 43,800 per year. At 1 cent, $438 for the whole year. At $1, you're 43,800 for the whole year. I mean, wow, my friends. Being on an Omni bundle seems like it's a pretty good idea, right? So here's kind of how it looks. Your node rewards now have real value. You're safe. Now 600 rewards a month. You're meeting 1,200 rewards a month. Your stacks 1,800 a month. Your Omni bundle 3,600 a month, and your Omni Plus 6,600 rewards per month. Okay, so here's the little calculator. You can see when it pays for itself, right? So safe pays for itself once Node has a value of about 0.0167, so almost a penny and a half, right? If Node becomes worth a penny and a half, then Safe basically pays for itself. Okay, Meeting, same thing. All of them are right around that. Stacks, 0.016, same thing. Now the bundle, a little bit better, right? You can see that you're making a little bit more on the rewards there. So you're break even on just the Omni bundle. If Node ever gets to 0.0139 cents, then you're basically breaking even. You make as much in rewards as your monthly subscription costs. How awesome is that? Okay. Do you think that could potentially happen? I do. I believe in what they're doing. I believe in what Blockbrain is bringing to the table and what Kat and the team is, what they're doing internationally with governments and all these things, right, that we keep hearing about. So, the potential for Node to be worth more than a penny, 2 cents. I mean, I think so. Can't guarantee it. We don't know. It could completely collapse. Right? World War III could break out, and and we lose everything. But the most likely scenario is that it does. Right? It appreciates, and over time gets to 2 cents and 5 cents and more. Okay, and now your subscription makes all the sense in the world. Pun intended. All right. So earning Node daily means you're using Node to now pay for your own subscription, means the services generate more rewards, and you're earning even more, and you're stacking and spending. It's just a circular economy. This is it's the flywheel, right? It's just going to take off and go nuts. And then once this finally happens, once we have our Voltix wallet with our AI-powered Visa card coming soon, where your Node rewards land and where they can go, right, is now you have your wallet, non-custodial security, real-time reward tracking, built-in token swap, cross-chain ready, Visa card integration, so you can spend those tokens anywhere, not just in the ecosystem, but outside the ecosystem as well. Okay, with AI telling you, hey, this is where you can get the best deal. This is where you're going to get the most savings, right? Whether it's on travel or shopping or whatever, accepted globally, wherever Visa is accepted, right? All right from your phone with an app. This will be the cherry on top that will make this thing just absolutely go ballistic. Okay, that's my prediction. It's going to be awesome. So here's our complete Node ecosystem flow. We have node and services. We have node rewards. We have token gains gaining value. We have rewards having value. We have spending via the Visa card, and the cycle continues. The scarcity engine is in place, right? With the annual halvings, the utility engine with real SaaS products, with real users creating real demand, with every subscription generating rewards and creating, and then of course layer twos using the gas fees and all that. And then our spending engine with our AI Visa card transforming node from an abstract token into a real spending powerhouse. This thing is going to go absolutely nuts. So what's our early adopter advantage? Well, history rewards those who act before the crowd, right? The node window is open right now. Bitcoin was less than a penny at one point, and now it's almost 80,000, right? Ethereum was 31 cents, it's 4,800. Solana, 50 cents, 259. Polygon, less than a penny, now almost $3. Node, where I don't know where it's going to be, but whatever it's doing, it's going to be awesome, and we couldn't be more excited. So your 5 key takeaways today: the halving is working as designed, not a problem, it's a feature, okay, that creates scarcity and drives long-term value. The SaaS rewards now outpace nodes because the activity compounds independently, okay, making subscriptions the most efficient reward engine. The token price at 0.002 is just day one, but we know that most things start right there, and then with scarcity and utility, they grow. Every layer 2 project using Node pays gas fees in Node, creating permanent growing demand for the token. And finally, with the Vaultix wallet and our coming soon Visa card, making it spendable in the real world, completes that circle from earning to living. So my friends, takeaway, go get your Omni bundle today, because that's how you get started. All right, so that was it.
Where I'm just going, like Home Alone emoji, where, oh my gosh. And, that was unbelievable. My brain is fried. Chris and Gordon and I, Jerem, are all thinking, why didn't we buy that Bitcoin we wanted to buy when, back when? But hey, it is an exciting concept, and whether things become anything, that's what the future's all about. And it's a very exciting concept that Gnodi has put on the table. So I appreciate you doing that for sure. I want to remind everybody, after watching this video, I'm sure Jeremy has already watched Kat's 16-minute compliance video, that we all want to make sure everybody is compliant in everything we're doing here. And Jeremy was very careful to go through that. So you can see why Jeremy does these presentations, right, Gordon?
I certainly can, and I'll tell you the quote of the day from Jeremy was, in my mind, frenzy. That way, momentum, and that's what we can have in front of us. So I am so excited, Jeremy. That they keep getting even better. I can't believe it. So thank you so much, Jeremy. It was great.
Awesome.
For the recording, brother. So
Okay,
that's great. Love all you, team. Team's
Okay.
great.
Take care, everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Have a
great Saturday.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ken.